Hey there everybody, SeKo Starcraft bringing you game 2 between Scarlett and Strelok. It was an RSL tournament from not too long ago. Best of 5, game 1 went to Strelok. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, it's worthwhile. Great mech play out of the Terran player. Very long game, went about half hour. Just managed to have the answer for what Scarlett was doing there, with the Mutalisk into Broodlord with Infestor support. Love going mech in just about every matchup I can as Terran, even if it gets against Protoss. Mech is just the way to go. But there are specific ways of dealing with it, and Scarlett almost had the answer until the Terran decided to attack, and then she just couldn't stop it. Excuse me. I'm expecting a fairly similar opening from both players. I don't know if either one's going to change much up. This map's got a fairly similar feel to the last one. I'm seeing probably barracks here pretty quick. Not likely to be, yeah, no command center coming down. This doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, this is the safe thing to do. Scarlett is known for changing up her gameplay a lot, mixing in some rushes, some 9 pools, some baneling, roach, all-ins. Going for something like this, not too unordinary. I've actually been getting caught a few times. Going my command center before barracks build is so much fun. It's really great if it works, but then sometimes people just blind counter it and just go straight into like a 6 pool and then beat you. You feel really sad inside. So I don't do it all the time anymore, but it was fun. While the dream lasted, it was worth having. Expansion before the command center. We're actually going to get a gas before the pool, though. We should be getting a CC on the low ground. Oh. Get the upgrade and a marine coming. Then we'll get into the CC. Very similar to last time. She will see the overlord, so this marine coming out should be able to shoo it away. And the low ground CC. Pretty straightforward. The good thing about doing this build this way is this scout would let you know if you're getting early pool or something like that. Is he going to drop that overlord back? Worthwhile. Could maybe even chase it around. Is it going to? It is too. It's pretty out in the open. It might lose this, particularly if another marine comes up to the high ground. I think she could lose this overlord. I don't know if this counts as high ground here or not. I don't see enough Terran players do this. I think it's super wise. All the Zerg players scout in the same path. They always take the same approach. And if you're real slick, you can pick them off. And if you pick off an overlord at the start, yeah, it's hurting things a lot. So we do have enough gas to start speed, or is it going to be a lair? Nope, it's speed. It would be pretty interesting to just go straight into maybe a roach speed push. I watched a really good game recently. Actually, I cast it between Select and a Zerg player. They went for really fast roach drops. Worked out really effectively. Strategy that I wouldn't mind trying myself at some point, because I don't think a lot of Terran players really expect that. A lot of Terran players just go for some sort of very classic wall at the front, all of your defenses behind, and then these areas to drop into the base are really open. Zerglings, don't find this SCV. It's not doing anything too funky. It's just going to go for a delayed scout to see the timing of this third base. Would be expecting it somewhere around the 7-minute mark, likely. And if you don't see it somewhere around then you might be expecting something like this, which is maybe a roach baneling bust. Pretty common. I see it work out a lot. It's not too often you can stop the roach baneling all in unless you see that it's coming and you have out tanks. Like, you can have out a couple of widow mines, but if you don't, you just run into a lot of trouble. And case in point, getting into hellions, the roaches counter that, and then you just get rolled over when they get to your base. One after expand. That's the way to do it. I was distracted for a second. I was looking at my phone. There comes the roaches, and I don't believe the Terran player knows anything about this. Case in point, there is a tech lab happening here, but there's no widow mines, no tanks, no marauders, nothing that's going to do. Doesn't lose the Hellion at least, but there is a tank started. But this low ground is essentially forfeit. If the tank moves to the low ground, it will get pinned in. She's going to try to do the repair. I think she's going to have to target down the workers. She did lose a lot of roaches here, but that's quite a few workers killed. Again, the tank is in good position. Couple tank shots, doesn't lose a roach yet. Nice snipe on the mule. Ooh, it actually gets that last SUV. And then picking off this is such a great thing you can do as a Zerg player. This kind of Terran flimsy expand, I'd call it, where they just go for like the one bunker, supply depot wall in, and then move into hellions. Just making 2 really good rounds of roaches. I mean, the 3rd base is just started. That was just on 2 bases. Like, I think there's only 1 gas at the time, because yeah, there isn't. These other ones aren't filled. They're just getting filled now, and this one's not built. Just 2 bases, 1 gas, and you can build enough roaches to essentially just finish off an expansion and slow things down a lot. There are 2 tanks and the Banshee out, so I mean, this rush is so essentially shut down. Going into range attack as well, so we might be seeing Roach Hydra as the way of choice here. Or it's... Wow, that's a lot of overlords she's making right at once. Pretty supply blocked up, and unfortunately, she might not have what she needs to be able to deal with this push. Particularly as she doesn't have any anti-air down here other than her queens, and no detection. Supposed to be shot. Yeah, that's such a crappy feeling. Like, I got you, boop, cloak, and then you cry. She's gotta be very careful not to lose all of these overlords, though. It's a pretty aggressive push. Detection is in place. Banshee goes down. She did have to sacrifice a few workers here, but using these tanks and that Banshee isn't cheap. Roach speed is not finished yet, but it will be done here pretty soon. Might still get that last tank. That one Banshee comes to the rescue and should be alright. Do have a spore going down. Yep, just over here in a good spot to deny anything walking in. We still have Banshees being made out of Strelok here, and a pretty big supply block himself. So who knows? Mutas, but with the Marines in place. Do they have any upgrades yet? No, they don't. Take that, Street Tumor. Overseer is hanging around. Is there a queen down here? Yes, there is. Looks like he'll just sneak away barely. But these Banshees really haven't done a lot of work. 8 workers killed to 2. Total worker count, 61 to 47. But there's another command center on the way here. Creep's been a little bit stifled this game because of the need of those queens to deflect that attack. Let's see what kind of damage these mutas can do. Looks like the Terran's pretty well prepared right now. There's no Widow Mines in play, but there's already a Thor. Good little snipes. Just do whatever damage you can, right? About enough mutas to do a one-shot on a worker. She's not really investing a lot more, and she's teching up a lot faster than last game. Pretty good work. She got about another 15 plus workers just with that handful of mutas there. Quite a good investment. More roaches on the way. Infestation pit wrapping up pretty soon. Pretty delayed on the Carapace, but +2 ranged attack will be finishing up here soon. The Terran's still in 0-0 with his mech. Looks like he's going into a bit of a delayed mech in a sense. Not much for production facilities, and That's quite surprising for me. I think you'd be able to afford a little bit more than 2 factories and a starport off of what's going on here. Widow mines are out. Ooh, 20 workers all at once. Holy crap. It's gonna put her up over about to 86 workers all at once. She feels she's got enough damage in that she doesn't have to worry too much about what's coming back at her. Creep spreads, you have to keep moving. Swarm hosts. Oh, pause and go. Swarm hosts could be interesting against the mech. It would really, hold things back here. What's going to be very important is actually getting out some drop ships to maybe be able to outmaneuver the swarm host, drop some hellbats or something right on top of them. It can be pretty effective from time to time. I think the third base is going to be ready to happen here pretty soon. Once again, moving into this heavy mech transition. I don't think Strelok's in a terrible position, but Scarlett's just in a much better one. Getting the static D up, just to be able to keep things safe from anything really funky and weird. We have the Enduring Locusts finished pretty soon. Swarm Host now in production. She's got 5 done and 5 more about to pop. Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Pretty happy with what she's got happening here. If I was a Zerg player, I'd be very happy in her position. The difficulty, though, as a Terran going mech, is that they can just turtle up inside their base for a long time, and when they do push out with a pretty close to maxed out army, 7 overlords of production. Scarlett seems to be having trouble with that supply advantage. When you push out with that max mech army, it's almost impossible for the Zerg to deal with it head on. You have to either trade as best as you can on their side of the map and fall back. That's a good place for a Widow Mine there. Roaches on this other side to try to deflect any other type of attack. Looks like she didn't notice the Widow Mine hit there. She sees a pretty strong army there from the Terran player. Nice snipe out on that one tank. She's gonna go straight after the economy. That tank is trapped up there. Looks like the base mechanics here aren't the best. The army is coming back into position, but that's gonna free up. Wow. She finally gets that one line. Getting that Raven, very worthwhile. Such an expensive unit. Picking up these tanks is also pretty slick. Losing some mutas there, but once again, the Zerg player is in such a strong position. I don't think she's too worried about it. Getting together some Vipers as well at the same time. Ooh, come back and that Swarm Host is being a little bit of a jerk. It's interesting that even after they run out of energy, they just don't disappear. They just... Oh, they regenerate energy? I didn't know that. I just learned. Blinding Cloud over top of that. That's pretty slick. It's a nice yank on that Thor, but unless you're yanking it back into units to kill it. There we go. It's not really that useful. Vipers are pretty flimsy. Yep, Terran sees what's coming. Just pull back a little bit. God, I love Locusts. They just kick so much butt. I haven't been playing around a little bit with Swarm Hosts and ZVZ. It's a dangerous, dangerous game to play, but it works. Man, it's never cool. Swarm Hosts are not a defensive unit, so I do like Strelok pushing across the map here. It's very, very difficult for anything like this, ooh, like that, to be able to stop this push in here. Great blinding clouds on the Thors. Really, really, really effective there. Shutting down all that anti-air. And once these Thors are done, this army is essentially really wide open. Oh, it's good GG out of Strelok there. I think that was his last hope, was to try to push out and return the pressure. Didn't work this game though. I think that Scarlett had a much better plan for this early late game push out by the Terran player that was going to be able to stifle that high tech army of Scarlett. Fun game. Series is started up 1-1. SeKo Starcraft should be having the next game for you guys here right away.